This is the Paladin Excellence in Coaching webinar series. My name is Michael Horn, and my role at Paladin is manager of the tech support department. So it's my privilege to work with the stores from the go-live process into the future, and hopefully keep them running good and answer any questions that they have. So it's a lot of fun. And today's webinar title is the top 5 best practices using Paladin. And it's kind of an interesting topic and discussion. Some of it will maybe be really basic. Other things might be some thoughts you never thought of before and why they're important. So the top 5 best practices using Paladin. And the description follows. It's a technical level of, it's really hardware and pharmacy. It goes both ways, and it's an easy a webinar. Nothing that we're going to discuss here is going to be overly advanced. So, and the goal of this one is to give you advanced trading just to help you guys use the system better, to get a good baseline to help you guys be more successful. I want you to walk with an understanding of how to increase your efficiency and promote healthy processes in Paladin, so it's very important. I'm being assisted by Chad Klein, and if you have any questions, you could raise your hand, chat with him during the webinar. He'll do his best to answer those, and then afterwards we could facilitate any questions that might be asked at that point in time also. He's also going to be responsible for recording the webinar, which is really neat. So, after the fact, or say you had to leave during the middle of the webinar because you got busy, you could come back after the fact and get the recorded presentation, or for anyone else that might have missed it that you'd like them to see, they could also watch the recording. And where that could be located is if you go to web browser, you can go to Paladin Point of Sale, all spelled out, paladinpointofsale.com/webinars. So if you go to paladinpointofsale.com/webinars. So not only this one, previous webinars that we've done in the past, you can get copies of those. So let's get started. Today we're going to talk about the most 5 features in Paladin that will help you benefit your business. And number 1 is reviewing your investment. At Paladin, we view your stores and what they do similar to what investors do. Investors invest money on or in a product, and they want return for that investment, don't they? But then rather than it being, say, real estate or the stock market, you invest in products that are in your store, they're on your shelves, and those products you want to return. So if we think about reviewing your investment, cleaning and maintaining the look of your investment on the shelf is so important. To know the customer and how they perceive the cleanliness of your store is very valuable. Some have accomplished the goal by using comment cards, or maybe asking a trusted friend if someone's going to be honest with you. Hey, does my store appear clean to you? Cleaning and maintaining the look of the investment on the shelf. That way, the cleaner it is, the better the customers are going to perceive your store, and the organization on the shelf goes into organization on the back office, and they're going to see that this is going to be a clean and efficiently run store. And going towards that, while you're cleaning, you might as well have your RF gun with you. And while we do that, we can do what's called a cycle count. And not just cycle count, a daily cycle count, the inventory in your store. Have you ever wondered how larger companies or corporations keep their inventory straight? Well, they do this cycle count, what it's called. And what is it? Well, it's a process of continually validating the accuracy of the inventory inside Paladin. And they do this on a daily basis. So continually validating the accuracy of the inventory inside Paladin. It might seem like overwhelming or a lot of work to do this on a daily basis, but by making this a part of your daily routine, a task that you get used to, it becomes very easy. You get into the store in the morning, you turn on the lights, then you unlock the doors, maybe make some coffee, and then cycle count. Just make it part of your routine. It doesn't have to be in the morning. It could be in the middle part of the day or in the end part. But it's just important that you do it on a daily basis. Because if you only cycle count sporadically, well, that's the results you're going to get. You're going to get sporadic results. So you're going to want to cycle count on a very consistent and daily basis. And start small when thinking about daily cycle counting. Don't count your biggest or maybe your fastest moving department right away. Start with something smaller, something with less movement. It's recommended, maybe to spend a couple weeks counting carefully, and this is the key, carefully selected locations at your store and building your skill and confidence in this process of cycle counting. And by doing this, you're going to come across some huge advantages. It really is impossible to fully take advantage of the suggested order that Paladin has without maintaining an accurate inventory inside Paladin. The suggested order is based on inventory. So current inventory and then history. If those numbers are off, it's going to be very difficult to take full advantage of the suggested order. You can make it work, but it's going to be a little tricky. So again, that's one of the advantages of cycle counting. And then also thinking about the customer experience. Nothing erodes customer service more than workers who don't trust the inventory in Paladin. So if your inventory is off, and it has been consistently off, well, the checkers kind of probably know that or see a pattern. And when they get asked questions, they don't have the confidence that they could speak behind saying, well, I know, Paladin says we have it. We have to have it. Maybe it's in the back. Let me go check. So, and then when needed, reorders aren't coming in when they're needed. It's difficult for even the most skilled checker to present a confident and positive face to the customer. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? The customer experience and making sure that they're getting taken care of. So cycle counting is so imperative and so huge when it comes to this. So I urge everyone to do this. And if you have any questions regarding anything that I'm going to be talking about, again, nothing's overly advanced, but if you want to see how this might fit into your store and your routines, please reach out to us here at Paladin, and we can help you guys, implement a cycle counting procedure at your location. Now, something that we're doing as a software company, I'm just going to touch on. You'll get more information as time comes out. The window that you see there up on the slide, I'm sure you've never seen before, or if you have, it's been because support has been logged in, and you've caught glimpses of it. It's some of the new dashboards that Paladin is putting out. These dashboards are going to be really imperative and are going to really help you identify items that are slow, items that you just need to get rid of, need to move out of your store. That way you could get your investment dollars back and then reinvest in them in something that's going to work. So we're going to have some upcoming dashboards that are going to be coming up that are really exciting, and they're really going to help you guys make educated decisions and make fast ones. It's nothing that's going to take a whole lot of digging into. You're going to see some data points. They're going to be staring at you in the face, and then you have a choice to take action with the information that you're given. So it's going to be pretty exciting. So there's some exciting things to come and more to come on that. In fact, I'm sure we're going to have an upcoming webinar series on the dashboards. I don't know when, but just stay tuned for that because it's going to be pretty exciting. So moving on to number 2, processing returns. There's a potential for loss or loss prevention when processing a customer returns. So you could choose to train your employees in the correct procedures in returning an item, and by doing this, the loss prevention that's where that kicks in, because there is a high potential. There's people out there, unfortunately, that try to take advantage of checkers if they notice that they get flustered, or if they notice that they may be kind of inexperienced. They try to take advantage of those ones and maybe catch them off guard, possibly buy something when it's on sale and try to return it when it's not on sale without a receipt. Every store has a different policy on that. Maybe you don't accept returns without a receipt, but most stores do. And the nice thing is there's a way inside Paladin to accomplish this goal with little liability to the store. So processing returns are so big, but every store's got a different process for this. And again, I urge you to contact us here at Paladin to know the correct way to implement this into your process of returns and how you handle this on a daily basis. Because, again, with proper training, the potential for loss prevention is huge, and that's what it's all about. When stuff comes out of the door, it affects your bottom dollar, and preventing this is so important. So again, if you have any questions on processing returns, you never want to give the wrong amount back. It doesn't instill confidence in the customer. They know, that they know when something's not quite right. So it's a huge step in helping with this. And one of these steps with processing returns that's really imperative and that actually helps you in this procedure is what we're going to talk about next. And that is collecting customer information up front. So when a customer comes to your store, say they're not a charge account customer, do you collect their information up front? Well, that may seem odd. Well, I want my charge account customers, but I don't know if Joe Smith is going to come or return to a store. I see an out-of-state plate. I just don't know. It's still important. Who knows? Maybe they just moved in here from out of town. I think it's a good process for anyone that comes. At least give them the offer to collect the customer information up front. At least that way you can start tracking customer satisfaction, right? I know that's what here at Paladin, that's what we strive to do. That's our goal, and I'm sure that's yours too. It's something that we're all striving for. And it's a marketing term that measures how products or services supplied by a company meets and hopefully surpasses customer expectations. Well, to get customer satisfaction in your store, it's going to be hard to track that or to know who customers are shopping in your store without collecting that information up front. So by tracking their habits, their spending habits, because Paladin keeps all of that, it's so important. Not only that, but doing your customers a service. Say they come in and they want an invoice reprinted on a full sheet that they lost. You could do that when you're collecting the customer information up front. Now you can do it without it, but it's going to take a little bit more to find it. But if you get the information, get the account up front, again, they don't have to have charge capabilities if that's something you're afraid of. It's just a way of identifying and tracking. That's really important. Another service you can offer them if they have an account is you can offer to email a copy of their receipt to them. And that is possible if they have an account inside Paladin. Maybe one's like to have the full sheet receipt rather than just the little one on the receipt paper. So rather than it defaults to the receipt paper and then at the little box that pops up at the end of the transaction you say full sheet, well, you're wasting that little receipt. You can have it default to full sheet if they have an account. So it's just those little things that the customers really appreciate, that they really like. Also, it helps you in the future, say you have to do a little bit of research on a transaction or an item. Well, it helps you run a report because now you can classify those reports down to specific customers. So again, very important in Paladin. Also, when it comes to customers' profit ranking is really important. And Paladin actually has a report in the report. It's called Customer Profit Ranking. And again, without having these customers in Paladin, Paladin will have no idea what the profit ranking is, which in turn means that you don't. And I think that's really important. That way you can identify spending habits, maybe patterns. Maybe you're trying to earn a customer's business in a certain area where he's maybe not spending as much money as in other areas. He's a contractor. He comes to your store and he spends a lot of money in your paint department, but he doesn't spend a whole lot buying tools from you. Well, maybe you can earn his business saying, well, reach out to him and say, well, if you buy tools from me, I'll give you a 5% discount in that department or whatever you feel like. And that's all things that we can set up, which is really nice. So moving on to point number 4 is backups. Backups are so important. when it comes to Paladin. Computer viruses are getting more and more prevalent. In fact, here at Paladin, we made a big change company-wide about a year ago, where we've actually got a department now that handles antivirus. Many of you, I know, are aware of that, and probably talked to the gentleman. His name's CJ, just really nice guy, and he helps people with computer viruses. And it's become so prevalent that we can actually have a full department with that now, because that's how, pervasive it is getting. They're getting more and more prevalent. So not only do we have the virus aspect of computers, but we know that hardware does fail. The computers are not impervious. Lightning strikes, they take computers out all the time. And you know better than we do how valuable that data inside Paladin is. With all, again, speaking to the customers, now you have all this data that you've been tracking. You got your suggested order dialed in, your inventory is perfect. And then what? You have your server fail, and you don't have a valid backup because your backups, you weren't making offsite backups. So then what? Well, then on the support side of things, speaking from support, we just got to look at the last known good data and try to, recover it from that. So when thinking about data prevention and data loss, you could have a gap there. It's going to be, pretty big of data that you're going to be missing from your store. And that's really painful. It's painful for us because we really want to do the best service that we can, and that's get you back up to the point to where when you failed, you don't skip a beat and you can just move on. My backups really help in this. And I mentioned offsite backups. Maybe that's something that you've heard in the past, or maybe that's, you have a little trepidation about it or don't know about it. I'll touch a little bit on it here, but again, this is where support could really reach out and help you. Offsite backups is where Paladin, for single and multi-store, does automatic backups every evening, about 11:15. So this is why it's important for you guys to leave your server and your backup server on, because at that point in time, a scheduled task in the background is going to run. It's going to take a copy of Paladin, back it up, and then it's going to copy that backup to the backup server. So in single terminal pharmacies, because we have a few out there in hardware stores, it's very imperative, because that backup copy doesn't get copied to a backup server, that you do offsites. But it's also imperative for stores that even have backup servers. And this is why. We've had stores in the past that have flooded or even burnt to the ground. So just because we have a backup, and it made the backup, and we have a redundant copy on another computer, both computers got destroyed, in a flood or in a fire. So those backups don't mean anything. So offsite means at the end of the day, and it's going to be part of your procedure, kind of like cycle counting, you're just going to take a disk or take a little flash drive, and you're going to make a copy of that backup. And we're going to copy it onto that disk or flash drive, and you're going to take it with you. You're going to take it out of the store. And that's where the offsite comes in. It's really imperative to get it out of that location. So, and then you can just filter through those, and as they get a little older, if it's on the flash drive, you can delete those. If it's on a disk, some disks you can delete, depends on how you're writing to them. Otherwise, just get a new one and then go that way. So again, if you have any questions about backups, offsite backups, and I will touch on one thing. Some companies use like a Carbonite or a backup to the web or to the cloud. You might have heard that works, and that works fine. It works okay. And does it accomplish the goal of offsite? Well, it does, but there's one big caveat to it, and it comes when you call us in a store down emergency, and you're kind of in that panic mode of, help, my store's down, I need to get back up and running. And then our first question is, okay, what's the most recent backup? If that's the problem, then I can get to restore. Well, if it's in the cloud, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to wait to download that backup from the cloud. And that might, be variable based upon your internet speed. Well, will be variable based upon your internet speed. So if, your internet's a little slower, you've been a Paladin customer for a while, it could take, upwards to an hour, maybe two, maybe 3 to 4 even, to get that backup copy back into your location on a computer that we can get running. So you can see how it works, but when you're in that panic mode of I need to get my store back up and running, having an offsite backup on a DVD drive or on a flash drive is so much quicker for us to restore that data than from a cloud-based service. So I don't want to discourage the cloud-based service. I think it's got validity. It is valid, but don't let that be everything that you do. Also do offsites with a flash drive or a DVD. It's really important, and it will help us better service you if and when that emergency does come our way. So speaking from a support perspective, it helps us a lot. And then 5, ordering through Paladin. Now, I know a lot of people do this, but surprisingly, and I try to when I'm doing support every now and then, just ask people, are you using the purchase order module inside Paladin? A lot of people say no, and it really surprises me because Paladin's purchase orders and ordering through Paladin helps you as a store runner, like it says, track your order history, which is huge. If you have a purchase order in Paladin and someone comes into your store and you have 6 on the shelf, but you've got more coming, well, you could tell them that information right away. And you can speak with confidence on it because you have a purchase order inside Paladin that says, I've got 6 on the shelf, but I've got 10 more on order. So speaking with that authority just solidifies your relationship with that customer and lets the customer know that you're in control of your ordering and that you know what's going on, and it gives them confidence, and that confidence will, allow them to and make them want to spend more money with you. Speaking from authority, so as regards to the product and everything, and having that history all in one location is huge inside Paladin, because not only you're getting your purchase history, but you're getting your order history, and those two go hand in hand, and it saves time. Using a suggested order inside Paladin, that's what it's all about. It's not only, about accurately ordering what you need for a next couple order cycles and not overstocking yourself, but it's also a time saver, which is really big, because if you're like me, it seems like the time just flies by. You can't have enough time in the day to continue, just trying to get your tasks done. So saving time, if you could figure out those ways to do that, it's huge. So the saying goes, right, time is money. So ordering through Paladin, for saving time, that means we're saving money, and we're simplifying our processes in our life, which is huge. So again, ordering through Paladin is a big step when you think about if you haven't done it, or if you're really uncomfortable with it because you just don't trust the computer. And we hear that a lot. Well, I just don't trust it. I just don't trust the computer. Well, again, it's kind of like cycle counting. You don't start with the biggest. You start small. You make, baby steps. We've heard that before. You make baby steps and just move your way into ordering through Paladin. And, unfortunately, overstocking is as big of a problem as understocking. And that's our goal, is to find that happy medium. That way you're not having too much capital tied up into ordering, but then you're not understocking your store to where customers come in and can't find anything. So ordering through Paladin is something that we'd really love to help you guys with. If it's something that you haven't started doing yet, again, please reach out to us. We really want to help you guys with these things. And this is just a brief overview. There's many more. But these are just the top 5 that we can think of off the top of our head, and we'll continue with this series, and we'll go a little bit deeper on more subjects as time allows when it comes to learning about Paladin and how can it help you as a business owner continue to grow as a business. So, and that's what we're here for. So that was the presentation that I have. There is going to be a brief survey at the end, so if you could please fill that out. It helps us, good or bad. Please be honest, because we need to know which direction to go. when it comes to these webinars. Also, on the website, if you go look at past webinars, you have the option to choose and or enter suggestions for future webinars, which I think is really cool because we could think of ideas that might be great, or we feel is very pertinent or valuable. But again, we want to hear you guys' feedback for topics that you guys are interested in, and not and some of these are going to be educational too. We'll really drill down into Paladin in the future when it comes to different features and stuff. So again, thank you guys for attending our series. The next one that's going to be coming up is actually going to be a pharmacy only. It's going to be next Tuesday. It's going to be the most overlooked RX features. Is going to be the next webinar that's going to be coming up next Tuesday. So again, we want to thank you guys for attending. Don't forget to fill out the survey, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.